Hi there, my buddy, welcome. From heaven's point of view, certain occurrences in Earth seem random: a choice you didn't get, a delay that made you cry, a friendship that fell apart when you needed it the most. People on the outside may think it was a waste of time or bad luck, but to God, these were the precise lines in the blueprint that showed you were selected on purpose. Think about an architect. The plan has all the walls, doors, and secret support beams before any bricks are poured. It seems like random lines on paper to someone who doesn't know what they're doing, but to the architect, every line is perfect. That's your life. The scribbles of chaos that you thought were there all along were proof that you were never an accident. There is a record in your tail, and now the truth is coming out. If you were random, you would have fit in with random people, but you didn't. Every time you attempted to fit in, it pushed you out. Something within you wouldn't rest every time you thought, maybe this is where I belong. That resistance wasn't a failure, it was proof. The seal on your soul that proclaimed, you can't hide this one in the crowd. Look at what you've brought. The pain of being misunderstood, the pain of being alone, and the long nights when you implored God to tell you why the journey was lonelier for you than for others. That loneliness was never rejection. My dear buddy, it was proof. Proof that you weren't meant to mix in, but to carry something unusual. And remember this: the fights against you were never tiny. From the start, you've been hit harder, pushed deeper, and rattled longer. That wasn't a coincidence. Heaven counted every stride, and so did the other side. Darkness never uses its energy on things that aren't a danger. The strength of the attack is frequently the best way to tell how important your calling is. But here is when the proof becomes clear. You lived through things that should have killed you. Not once, not twice, but again and over. People may disagree with views. They may not believe your account, but they can't reject the evidence of survival. The fact that you are still alive, breathing, listening, and ready to hear this message is evidence that you were saved for more than just chance. When you think about your younger self, you can see the signs, the things that made you different, the things that made you feel like you were different even when you tried to ignore them, and the desire to dream greater than what was around you. Those weren't mistakes, they were prints of fingers, God's fingerprints on you from the start, so that even when the world sought to get rid of you, the proof would still be there. And indeed, you have carried a lot of weight, not because you were cursed, but because you were trusted. God gave you a burden that others couldn't bear. He thought you could hang on when others would have given up. He believed you could go through fire and come out stronger instead of broken. Not every scar is a stain, it's a seal, a sign that you brought fire and came out with brightness. Let me be clear, you didn't just happen to meet someone. You are not just a collection of random events. The design included even the deviations that didn't make sense. God has been weaving significance into every part of your existence. Just as a skilled weaver weaves colors into a tapestry, it appeared untidy from the back of the fabric, but when you flip the cloth over, you can see the pattern. And soon it will be time for that unveiling. That's why things that used to seem familiar seem empty today. And talking about the same things over and over again doesn't work anymore. It's not being burned out. It's not unhappy. It's the stirring of proof within you. Heaven is pushing on the design and telling it, it's time for this one to rise. Paths that you never drew will start to come together at your feet, as if someone drew them a long time ago. And evidence doesn't disagree. It doesn't ask to be believed. It just stands there, and you can't deny that it's genuine. Just as a tree doesn't need to prove its roots to anybody once it starts to yield fruit. That's how your life is going to change. Calm, steady, and impossible to ignore. That lengthy section was a test of how strong your beams are. Now your body can handle things that would have devastated you last year. My dear buddy, the plan is coming together, and soon, you'll not only comprehend why nothing in your experience happened by chance, but you'll also become proof that God picks with care, not by chance. The night has a way of speaking the truth, not in the sound of thunder, but in the way a hallway light pours beneath a door, or in the gentle tick of a clock that suddenly sounds like a heartbeat. You hold your keys in your palm, and something within you calms down. That stability is proof that your evidence is on its way. It doesn't arrive in the form of a speech. You can feel the change with your hands. You lose your grasp on stuff you weren't supposed to drag. Your breath goes lower in your chest. The name that used to hurt doesn't anymore. A chuckle that you haven't heard from yourself in years comes out without asking. The air is still the same. You have. Picture a piece of paper with iron filings on it and a magnet that you can't see moving below it. The filings don't seem to have any purpose at first. Then, one by one, they glide into lines, curves, and a form you didn't know was already there. That's how your days are now. The pull was always below the page. The trend is becoming clear. You start to see how your soul knows where home is before your head can explain it. A room you've never been in sounds like a place you've always belonged. A phrase from a stranger seems more like a reminder than an introduction. It seems like someone signed for you long before you got there, and the earth beneath you feels firm. The way this evidence comes in is courteous. It doesn't pull you by the collar or make you feel bad about all the time you wasted going around in circles. It pays tribute to them. You can now see the diversions in the light of day. The pain makes your voice deeper. The break that nearly killed you becomes the seam that ties you together stronger than ever. You touch the scar and feel strong, not weak. You'll see that your speed changes, but not quicker. Your days quit fighting with each other. The hour you spend on things that are important to you begins to pay off. First in serenity that doesn't leak, then in results that don't change. You don't have to push a boulder up a hill anymore. You are catching a current that has your name on it. Grief comes and goes, but it doesn't stay. Nostalgia comes and goes, but it doesn't keep you in old rooms. You may thank what helped you grow and yet leave when it seeks to keep you small. You may love someone and leave your mark. You may forgive without going back to the times when you had to beg for oxygen. And sensitivity comes back silently, like an instrument you put down years ago and then take up without thinking. A line of music amid the white noise of the kitchen sink. An image in your imagination that is the same hue as a dawn in your youth. Not a rewind, but a reunion. You don't negotiate with dread when it knocks. You notice it as a pilot observes a crosswind. Admit it, fix it, and keep on. You have a fresh honesty that doesn't need to be loud. It feels like rooms. People do too. You don't need to persuade anybody anymore. Presence is what explains things. It sounds different when you pray. Less talk, more weight. It feels like putting your hand on the shoulder of someone you trust, and hearing without sound. I've got you. Keep going. You don't hurry out of that time. You let it sit for a while, as varnish needs to do to reveal the grain clearly. The classic narrative of being behind doesn't hold up here. You can see it plainly now. You weren't late. You were being fitted, bone by bone and breath by breath, so the life you are about to enter won't feel like clothing you borrowed. This is the ideal manner for it to fall on you. And then comes the acknowledgement, not from a group of people, but from the thing itself. The dawn greets you in a new way. Things that used to be hard for you to do start to work like a well-oiled hinge. You say something simple and see it hit the precise spot you wanted it to. There's a click within, which means that the key has finally turned in the lock it was made for. This is what it feels like to be picked on purpose. Warmth where it used to be frigid. The area where tightness used to camp. A distinct line through the cacophony that used to be just static. No fireworks. Just perfect alignment that made chaos appear stupid for acting like it was in command. Let the opposition pass like the weather if it rises around you, as it always does when the truth becomes clear. Storms can make a road wet, but they can't move a mountain. And you, after all, are created like one. Not hard, but rooted. Now, look at yourself with kinder eyes. Look at the blueprint lines that you used to call scribbles. Look at the fingerprints you attempted to get rid of. Look at the tapestry that has turned out. The design is now clear. The colors go well together. There you go. The live exhibit of a well thought out decision. You'll know when the time comes. And it will. When you cross the line between nearly and entirely, the room will feel like it needs to breathe. It will seem like the job wants your hands. Your name will even sound proper when you say it. Dear buddy. The proof isn't a certificate that someone gives you. You moving with a quiet precision that can't be faked as proof. You don't have to make it happen, frame it, or prove it. Just stay where you are and see how the world changes around the truth. Under the page has always been the magnet. The filings are only now catching up. Thank you so much for going on this adventure with me. If you liked this message, please like it, share it with someone who could benefit, and subscribe to remain in touch. Pick one of the videos on your screen that speaks to you the most to continue your path of waking. I'll see you there.